So let's react to something else for a change. Somebody seems to actually be smiling. Um, let's see what's that about.
There we go. Okay. Okay. I don't really know how to start this other than hello.
Hi.
Recently, two things have happened. Have just, I guess, really triggered like a thought stream, I guess. And I've spoken to several people about it and I've even written it down in my journal, but I still I just keep thinking about it. Well, I guess I'll just say what the two things were, and I guess I'll say my thoughts because
Because that's why you're making the video. Come on.
I just have to, I guess, get them out into the void.
Yes.
But so recently I took an art history class, and one of the final assignments was a creative project, right? We could either write a poem based on a work of art by Van Gogh, or we could create a self-portrait in the style of Van Gogh.
I'd write a poem, bro. I can draw for shit. I could write, though.
I chose to do a self-portrait, and actually I'll get it. I'll show you it. I'll show you it. Hold on.
Well,
So
duh, come on.
Wait, I'll have to do the thing that influencers do. Hold on. So this was the self-portrait that I made, right?
Looks artsy.
It's not the best, I admit, and when I finished it, I wasn't really happy with it. But I did it myself, and I submitted it, and I had gotten a grade on it. So the way that the class worked was if you submitted it before the Zoom call that we had to do, because it was a hybrid class, then you would get your grade, and then presenting it to the class was optional. So I had already gotten my grade, and like I said, I wasn't really happy with the way that it turned out. So I wasn't going to present it to the class. That was until a classmate of mine went ahead of me, and what she presented...
Was it KI? KI, künstliche Intelligenz, nein. AI slop.
Was an AI photo of herself in the style of Van Gogh. And it was like, she didn't even try to hide the fact that...
Did it still have the Sora logo on it or something?
It was just straight up AI slop, right? And I was honestly beside myself, because like, how do you... I don't know, like, just how do you think that is, first of all, how do you think that that is an acceptable thing to turn into an art?
People are unhinged, trust me. This type of people, they don't give a fuck. They just don't care. They have no respect for anyone else. Since we're on the topic of drawing things and whatnot, we had some creative arts, whatever, at school back in the day. I remember where I drew my thing, and then actually some chick from my class, she actually took my thing, and then where my name was, like in the corner of the drawing, she just fucking cut it out and tried to give it to present it to the teacher as her own, because she didn't, because she sucked. Luckily for me, teacher obviously noticed, because she was aware of who's doing what. There were no consequences for this chick. Again, yeah, there is this type of people out there. And yeah, that makes the blood boil. I've been there. I'm with you, sister.
History professor. Like, this woman has a doctorate in art history. But it just like, how can you justify that in your mind? And
they don't think about it. They just do this shit just here. They don't think about it. They don't care.
really frustrated listening to her kind of, I guess, justify her use of AI and try to make it sound like her prompting session was in any way similar to Van Gogh's creative process. Like I was just sitting there like it was in the middle of the heat wave here in Europe, and I live in Germany. My house has no air conditioning.
No, bro, you're in Germany. Why do I get a shitty accent and you sound okay? What the fuck is wrong with me, bro?
So it was like 96 degrees in my house. The Zoom call was at 6 p.m. So I was already like, my brain was already.
Okay, but she's not German then, right? How the fuck is she thinking in like those Fahrenheit degrees or whatever? Are you a spy? What's going on? I'm confused. She might be Stasi.
Mush for the day. I had to sit here on this freaking Zoom call and listen to this woman talk about how she had to type in prompts to get the image that she wanted. And how, no, actually, it was very similar to Van Gogh, and it was really interesting. What are we doing? Like, what are we doing? And then, so I was really frustrated about that. And like I said, I wasn't going to share the painting that I did because I had already gotten a grade on it. And again, I wasn't very happy with it until that classmate went. And then it was just kind of like, not really a wake up moment, but it just made me so mad. I was like, how dare you screen share this slop and put it up on my screen? Like, how dare you make me look at this?
I'm just gonna, again, I'm more of a writing type of guy, not the drawing. But that's the exact same thing which I'm spreading at work as a message for people who do creative work. And for me, writing is also part of a creative process, even if it's just some process documentation, project management documents. They should be applying individually to your exact company. They should be specific for what you do. They should come from within your person. If it's just AI slop, you never identify with these things. You can't, like, you should look at like people during an audit or something, like process audit, how they would try to defend some AI slop which was generated for some abstract topics, processes, projects, whatever. It's not gonna work. And even that is creative work, fucking compiling a document which is specific to you as a person, as a, for example, project manager, specific to your project, then all of those things. It is a type of creative work. Obviously, it's not Van Gogh or whatever, but but even at this stage, it's important. And even at this stage, people are going to notice if it's AI slop or not. So yeah, it's kind of ridiculous that someone during like arts class is actually going to try to sell some AI bullshit. But yeah, people don't think, people don't care. And for me, it's always a sign, again, if someone is making AI doing this type of work, then they're not really interesting in what they do, and that's already a big red flag for me. Again, I'm not visiting any art classes, I'm just working, but even there within the workspace, it's, for me, it's a red flag, because you're not actually interested in what you're doing. You don't actually give a fuck about the details. You're using some stupid prompt, uploading some fucking documents into Claude and making it spew out some slop, which, at the first glance it might be okay. It's like, yeah, whatever. But it's mostly, it's unusable. It's just generic slop again. And I'm allergic personally to this type of shit. But yeah, I mean, her topic is more interesting than my fucking document tangent, but whatever.
And so, even though I wasn't happy with my work and I wasn't going to share it, I did, because it kind of just made me realize, like, even though I am not happy with the way that this turned out. It's not perfect. It doesn't look the way I want it to. I made it with my own two hands, right? I could at least do that for this class, like for this art class that we're taking. So I shared it just out of spite because, I felt like my classmates deserved to see like real human art, you know? Even if it's not perfect, even if it isn't good, even if, my eyes aren't proportional or whatever. I was like,
Bro, my eyes are not proportional in real life. Who cares? Life imitating art, on my example.
there's no point in me being ashamed of my work when my classmates are out here doing this, So that was like really
You shouldn't be ashamed anyway, whatever. It's arts class. It's your expression. Who cares?
frustrating and upsetting to me. And that happened like at the beginning of last month, I think. But that was the first thing that happened. And I was just like really shocked because I feel like, at least for me, people being like overly reliant or just even casually using like generative AI is something that you hear about all the time. But for me, like the people in my circle are very much like creatives, very much artists, very much do not like generative AI. So it was just kind of like a shock.
Again, it's just an instrument, it's about how you use it and where you use it and when you use it. All those things, right? That's all. It's just a tool. It's a tool. And it can be useful if used appropriately, right? That's all. As when I don't know, making some educational material or something, and I have like, I don't know, 37 PowerPoint pages with some material about like, I don't know, radiation types or whatever. I'm writing myself. I'm looking at the sources. I'm using my language, to write it down. And then in the very end to check it, I can upload it, to some Claude or whatever and make it check through it for like obvious mistakes or possible weak spots. And then I can see the results it gives me and evaluate as a human again whether it makes sense or not, whether I'm gonna accept it or not, whether I'm gonna change it or not. For these types of applications, why the hell not, right? But for creative work, it's not creative work if you're not creating it.
Like I was so taken aback to see this kind of unabashed use and presentation of just like, here's what I made. Girl, you didn't make that. You did not make that. And how dare you try to pass it off as an acceptable assignment? Anyway, the next thing that happened that was really disappointing, and I think that kind of pushed me to make this video, was there's a K-pop group that I really like that I've been listening to since.
Bro, I'm already much more quiet than I usually am, but the K-pop group, I'm not gonna be able to comment shit on that, bro. I have no fucking clue.
2017, I think 2016, the K-pop group Red Velvet, right? I love their music. I think they are the most talented group to come out of that industry, to be
I know K-cars. They're fun.
honest. I like have almost all of their physical albums. Like I love Red Velvet. And so imagine my excitement when I hear that they're having a comeback, right? And it's a mermaid concept, right? Red Velvet is doing a mermaid concept. Imagine my excitement. And then imagine how quickly it turns into disappointment when the schedule that they release is AI slop. So, but it was just so disappointing to learn. Like, you have this entertainment company who is one of the biggest in Korea, SM Entertainment, and they're resorting to, like, they used to use like practical effects and have real set designers, and it was so cool, and it was
Yeah, it's same shit with Coca-Cola, right? And their like advertisement during New Year and whatnot and Christmas, right? That was a big topic that they used AI slop for that, which is ridiculous. Like, obviously, Coke has a lot of money, right? Enough to make practical fucking ads as part of tradition, but they use complete AI slop, and it's just spit in their face. They don't give a fuck. That's the big companies for you. And they're stupid. They detach from reality. They don't understand normal human beings. So they don't even think about this shit. They don't think you're going to be offended by it. But of course, normal people with what the fuck? Normal humans with self-respect, um, they obviously get offended by it because you feel like you're being treated like a moron, right? That you have to consume this shit, this slop, and be grateful, I guess. So yeah, that's the usual big tech, big company, and big whatnot for you.
so creative. Like, Red Velvet is known for their creative concepts, so it's really disappointing to see them very blatantly just kind of be like, okay, here, since I want it, here. Like, both of these instances kind of just made me, they kind of just made me think and do some realizing. I guess this is the year of realizing things for me. But I guess really the first point of reflection for me with these two instances was kind of just the concept of self deprecation, but particularly like self deprecation around creative abilities, but just self deprecation in general. Like, listening to my classmate try to justify her lack of effort kind of just made me realize that the frustration that I feel about my lack of creative ability, or I guess technical skill, not really even creative ability, but technical skill, is kind of pointless because ultimately I'm the one that put paintbrush to paper and she didn't, right?
Well, sure, valid point, but again, ultimately, that's not about that entirely, right? You shouldn't feel weird or bad or wrong about lacking those skills. You shouldn't be ashamed of it or whatever. You should be able to present your work results if you wish, right? Whether AI exists or not. You know, let's imagine another situation where, I don't know, it would be the year 2015 and there's no AI around, and you're sitting there in the class, you know, and somebody else is making, I don't know, steals a work, some art, copies it from the web or whatever, as an example. You would be able to make the same argument. But even let's remove that. You're sitting in this class and nobody presenting their work. You still don't have to feel shitty about yourself because you're not content with your results. You still may present it. Why the fuck not? So I wouldn't entirely make this argument of like, yeah, because someone else is just making AI slop. That's why I should feel okay about posting my subpar maybe results. No, it's not about that. You should be feeling okay about it regardless. You know? So progress, do your thing, feel well, regardless of other people and what they do and how they feel and whatever. Be on your own path, right? You want to show your work, show it because you want to, right? You did it in this situation out of spite, but it doesn't matter. And the other person, this chick, doesn't matter if your eye slop. Again, if you want to show your work in the class, just show it. Not out of spite, not out of anything, just because you want to, right? If you want to.
And I'm not like, that's not me being on my high horse. But actually it is. I am being on my high horse about this because I put effort into that painting and I used my own brain and my own knowledge and my own skill to create a painting. And she didn't. So it's kind of pointless to look at the painting that I made, good or not, and feel bad about it when there are people out here who can't even pick up a paintbrush to begin with, right?
Again, it's I see the point. Yes, it's within the context, kind of makes sense. Overall, I wouldn't stick to that too much, right? It's the same argument that like, me, for example, when I deadlift 200 next time, obviously kilos, not pounds, or when I squat 170, kilos, not pounds. I should feel like I do enough. I shouldn't feel like I'm a loser. I shouldn't feel like I don't feel like I'm a loser, but you get the point. I stagnated in my results. So obviously when I do the same fucking weights for months and not progressing, right? I can feel shitty about myself, and that's okay. That gives me a reason to kick myself in the ass and improve, right? And find ways if it's a priority in my life, right? It's just a hobby, but still, again, I like this hobby. I do it regularly, and I want to see progress. You know. But there's a bunch of people around me who are like, yeah, who are praising this shit, right? Uh, Strength sport is not like I don't know. In some usual American gym, probably all those roided up dudes, they probably the level of strength is much higher in the US as like here in Switzerland for sure. But around here, if I deadlift over 200 kilos, it's considered like, I guess, oh, cool. I deadlift the most in my gym here. It doesn't says a lot because I'm not in like whatever. Anyhow, what I'm trying to say is, to me, like on my scales, my standards, my point of view, it's not a lot. Bunch of others think it's a lot, it's enough, it's fucking too much, it's whatever. Right? But why should I compare myself to like the average dude or like the average person or like the weaker ones? I gonna compare myself with the best, not cause I delusional and I have the idea that I ever gonna be the best. Obviously not. Like my estimate for myself was like, let's say deadlift 300 kilos as like the max if everything would be perfect and I would just prioritize just lifting in my life and doing nothing else, right? Then maybe I would reach that sometime. I would never deadlift 400 or fucking 350 or anything like that. Like that I could forget about. Right? So I'm never going to be the best, but I still going to compare myself to the best and see where I stand on on the chart compared to the best. Because if you're going to compare yourself to the weakest and the below average people, then you can just stop and you just like, I can just stop and do fuck all. I don't know, but like, how should it ignite me to do anything comparing yourself to the weakest? So that's like kind of the same situation in terms of like, well, now she doesn't want to feel bad about her results or be ashamed of it or whatever else, because there's someone who's worse. There's someone with entirely like absent standards, like presenting fucking AI slop as a creative arts piece. So that's a person with like who's within this topic is completely useless, a complete loser, right? Fucking AI slop, like come on, right? And so now comparing yourself to her, you feel like better about yourself, and now you have the confidence to present your work and all of those things. Yeah, sure, I guess it works in that situation, but that's not the best general rule to follow. You know what I mean? And it's not always true. If I'm gonna walk into the kindergarten and say, yeah, bro, I'm the strongest and toughest motherfucker out here, it's like, yeah, great, sure. I guess it works within the context as an argument, but I wouldn't follow that. You know, sure, I'm the toughest. If I have like 12-year-olds in front of me, if I'm gonna go to an MMA gym, everybody is gonna fucking kick my ass, right? So what? It's like all of a sudden I'm not the toughest. So just as an advice for everyone, like, be careful with those comparisons. That might lead you to like wrong conclusions.
But then that also got me thinking of just like humans' tendency to self deprecate in general, and especially in this age of AI and in authenticity of why do we continue to self deprecate when AI has made it increasingly clear that human skill and the ability to improve through, I guess, passion and willingness and hard work is infinitely more valuable than being perfect immediately, right?
Again, valuable within what context, right? Bunch of clients, companies, whatever, they're gobbling this AI slop up as if it's the best fucking dish they got served in their life. You know, again, many positions, many functions, many tasks, they don't require perfection, and they actually can be achieved with like just AI slop kind of results. It's sad, but it's the truth. So the if we're talking about abstract intrinsic value of like this human effort on like philosophical level or whatever, like, yeah, I guess, sure. But within like today's reality and work environment and whatnot, why the fuck is there a fly in my fucking apartment? What are you doing here, you motherfucker? Anyhow, yeah. But within like the let's say not abstract reality, but like applicable reality, at work and wherever. I mean, I've heard about, was it dissertation or just masters or whatever, but those types of work being done by AI now and people not noticing and accepting this shit. So people are getting their degrees based on the AI slop, basically. Um, you see, so nobody in those institutions gave a fuck about the human part of any of it.
We know what happens when you type in a prompt and a perfect image comes out. I feel like, and I'm glad to see that more and more people are realizing that anything made by human hand is inherently valuable. I feel like,
Not everything made by human hand is inherently valuable. No, there's some shit being created by human hands and other body parts.
especially online, there are a lot of elitists when it comes to art, and we'll get to that. What I made wasn't perfect, but because I was able to implement, my knowledge and my interpretation, and physically paint with my own hands, that the experience was better. And I think that makes what I created, you know, again, inherently more valuable, even if it's not good. The whole ordeal just made me realize that, self deprecation and devaluation of your own skills and your own abilities and your capability, only really hurts you. You're the one that's holding yourself back from becoming better. Self deprecation is an attempt to shield ourselves from others' criticism by preemptively criticizing ourselves. I think the impulse to.
Sure, again, there's always two sides, right, of a coin. So, like, yeah, you hold yourself back because you have high standards. So you're not doing certain things, not, making those steps. Um, the solution would be somewhere in the middle, I think. Uh, I mean, I know the issue of holding myself back because I have high standards towards myself. Not because like, oh, I'm this arrogant prick. Of course I'm arrogant prick, but like this particular issue is coming from just it's just intrinsically that's just how I am. I'm setting the highest standards to myself, not achieving them, and then I'm fucking beating myself up for it. That's stupid. That's too much into this direction, right? But being completely delusional and just producing any type of shit and saying that it's gold and just shoving it into the face of everyone else, that's also not the right solution, right? You should have some standards. You should, try to upkeep those. Again, just gotta be somewhere in the middle.
To self deprecate has been made significantly worse by the internet and social media because there's just this impulse to be as negative as possible. I deleted most of my social media back in December of 2024 just because I realized like this is not helping me in any positive way. Like this is not positively contributing to.
Bro, you just watching some shit. I advise go on like Instagram and watch like little fruit bats, little buggies, uh, little creatures just doing their thing, a bunch of those animal channels to just watch them be happy about it. It's again, it's like AI is a tool, social media and things like that are also a tool, right? Use it appropriately and learn how to use it, how to deal with it. You gotta be better off if you're gonna just use those tools, knowing what you're doing, right? If you're just gonna sit and watch the news about Iran wars and whatnot, yeah, you might be just fucking chronically depressed and whatever. But it's up to you, right? You have the freedom to use this tool appropriately to your personality, to your life, and whatnot. So social media, there's nothing wrong with social media in terms of like, oh no, if you want to be happy in your life, never click on any of those, never watch anything. Nah, it's not how it works. It's a choice. If you want to be just happy and positive and offended by nothing, you shouldn't watch my videos, right? If you want to be miserable loser, you should watch most of those people that I reviewed. If you want to be, I don't know, yeah, I'm gonna grind and fucking get to success and be the manliest man, you're gonna go, I don't know, watch those. What are those again? Jocko Willing type of people and fucking Goggins or whatever. Does he exist? I don't know. Yeah, please don't watch Tate or whatever. I mean, he's in jail anyway by now, but like, I'm still asking myself, who the fuck was watching this motherfucker? Like, what the fuck, bro? He's like the biggest fucking clown there is. The fucking, blah. He's just a pathetic manlet, bro. What the fuck? Ugh. Not in terms, like, the whole vibe about this dude, bro. Come on, like, what the fuck? Whatever. It's a side tangent of mine, I guess. Whatever. But yeah, it's about the choice. So I'm not gonna share this sentiment of like, yeah, social media are at fault for anything, and your self-image is fucked because social media. If you allowed it to do it with you, then yeah, for sure. If you're gonna watch bodybuilders, if I gonna watch like some fucking Mr. Olympia types of guys and you know constantly just, oh yeah, Eddie Hall and Hafthor Bjornsson, like, yeah, and think as if this is the norm and I should strive exactly for it, then yeah, I'm gonna be fucking miserable. But we got a brain for those cases, right? We can analyze things and put them into perspective. So, use it. That's what I have to say towards that.
My life in any way, shape, or form. And I just felt like it was almost like a competition. to see who could come up with like the quippiest, meanest comment to leave under somebody's video. And so
Yeah, the comments in itself is a topic. Bro, don't read the fucking comments. Fuck it. I mean, if you're a creator, I guess, and then again, I wouldn't just advise, just fuck the comments, bro. There's people who just enjoy making others miserable. That's all. That's all. My God, come on. Everybody knows about the trolls. Everybody knows about the losers out there who just want to get some emotion out of you. Whatever. Most of those are also not interesting. But I mean, if you can deal with it, again, it's just something to know that it exists and how to deal with it. That's all. If you can deal with it, there's actually a bunch of funny stuff sometimes in the comments. So I don't know. But again, if you can't and you don't care for it anyway, just don't read them. Nobody forces you to read the comments. Just ignore it, watch the content and move on.
I really can't blame people for feeling like they have to tear themselves down or feeling like they can't just
like nobody's watching my shit, right? But like I don't know, I just started this nonsense in 3 channels, 3 different languages. Just whatever. I know I feel better doing these stupid videos now than just gaming or whatever in my free time, so I'm just gonna do it, at least for the moment. But like the first comment was like that oh, I'm a useless commentator or something. It's like, okay, it's like, great, I guess. I might be. Who cares? Whatever. It's just, you move on. Yeah. And especially as creator, you can, if you don't like the shit, fucking delete it.
unapologetically post whatever they want to post, I think when you post yourself online, particularly on platforms like Instagram or TikTok, and if you aren't pretty and if you don't have a digestible personality.
Bro, I probably clicked on your channel because you're pretty, so I hope you're not gonna go there that, you're not.
You'll get ripped to shreds. And that's just like the nature of the internet. Like, if you're not funny, if you don't look nice, if you can't sell people things, like, why are you even alive? It's just.
Again, it's not black and white like this, and there's a bunch of fucking channels and they are successful, where you get like, where you don't have the pretty people or successful people. That's the whole shit that I'm reviewing is about the fucking people just complaining about how miserable they are and how small they feel and how the whole world is against them and they're just whining in the camera. That's not success. That's not pretty. That's none of those things. They got their views. Again, there's content for everyone out there. You just exist in your bubble, because the algorithm checks, gets the idea of what you like and presents it to you. But, don't be fooled by it. That's not the only thing. How like the whole point of these miserable people is that like, oh look, those are actually relatable people, right? Because not everybody relates to the fucking, look at me, I'm so rich, or look at me, I get up at 3 a.m. and start my productive day or whatever. Obviously, not everyone relates to that. And now in the West, everyone is relating to those fucking whiny, complainy videos. So everybody's watching that shit. They got endless views. And it's far from what you're describing in terms of content. It's the opposite. All those videos of like, I'm 45 and I have no friends or something, and it's gonna get like 10 million views or whatever. Or how does it feel to be ugly or something? Those type of videos, they always getting views. Again, so
The culture and the atmosphere.
Again, if you want to speak to the audience of those people who watch those success stories. If you want to speak to this type of audience, yeah, you better be conventionally pretty or whatever, and rich and successful, or at least pretend, right? But again, there's different people out there, there's different audiences, and there's different creators, right? Maybe I don't have an audience, right? But at least statistically speaking, there gotta be one person who's gonna like what I do. So, you know,
Online is just so overwhelmingly negative and it's just hateful. And that's not anything new. Like everybody knows that the internet is miserable. And I don't mean to sound like one of those middle-aged ladies who are afraid of alarm clocks, but I genuinely believe something demonic happens when people on the internet feel as though they've been given permission to hate someone or something. It's no wonder why.
people are people and they just hate. That's all. What is it about the internet? Do we have to go back in history and look at all the wars and how people behave and what they do if you allow them to do it? It's just in the real world, there's repercussions for certain things. And online, yeah, you can just say whatever. Although, again, there's also certain things you might get blocked for or whatever. But that's just people. There's nothing demonic about it. This is the human nature. This is what we got. This is what we got. Right? Don't bring demons into it and none of this shit. These are the humans. These are the people around you. And yes, bunch of them in real life gonna fucking smile at you and say hi, and online they might stab you in the back or whatever, or say fuck you, right? Instead. That's the human nature. Just see it for what it is. This has nothing to do with online, not online. This is human nature. They show who they are. That's all. Demons.
Self-deprecation is kind of like the default. Again, especially in art spaces, if you have like an unconventional art style or if you make like fan art or original characters, the reception to that is horrible.
Well, okay, the artsy people, those types. I mean, yeah, they're often very fucking arrogant and narcissistic. Yeah, sure. But again, if you want to be within that realm, whatever the fuck, like, how do you speak English? Like, what the fuck? Realm. Why the fuck can't I pronounce shit like that? Who gives a fuck? Anyhow, if you want to be a part of those circles, um, yeah, you just take it into account, right? Or you're gonna have to be separate from it. It just comes with the territory. I mean, the arrogant fucking artsy type. I mean, that's yeah, as old as the world.
Like people do not take kindly to originality, in my opinion. And so I think it's really easy to get in your own head about what you make and how you present it online. And even the thoughts that you think about your own art. You know, if you're constantly ingesting content that is hypercritical, you're going to build up this big block in your head of like, when I do this, it doesn't turn out right. And so I shouldn't even try, you know? One, it's no wonder that people self-deprecate, but it's also no wonder that people build up personas online, you know? I think online, real, genuine humanness.
Humanness. Personas are being built by people everywhere, not only online. Just another fact that you're gonna throw out there into the world. The genuine human, find one, bro. Fly. I gonna fucking. Um, you are yourself where? When you're alone at home. You might put on a persona when you're together with someone else, let's say romantically, or maybe your friends. You're another person when you're at work. Even if it's not completely other person, at least partially, somewhat different. You might be another human being with another mask when you talk to your parents or something. Where maybe you don't say certain things, you hide something, whatever it might be. You might be different when you're just out there in the, social life, just out in the streets. You're walking down the street, you're, I don't know, driving a train or whatever. You behave you dress certainly, like when we have clients at work, I'm gonna put on different clothes, to present myself from the better side, you know. I'm not gonna talk like I talk here, obviously. So we got a bunch of different fucking situational masks, right? If I'm gonna enter conflict with someone, I'm gonna present myself a certain way. If not, then I'm gonna be more soft and whatnot. It's normal. The internet is just one of those, places to be where, yeah, you either actually open yourself up to the world as who you are, or you put on another mask. Same with content creations. I mean, it's like, again, don't trust fucking anyone. It's all a show. Everyone making a video tries to get something out of it or send a certain type of message and present themselves from a certain point of view. Rarely does someone genuinely just wants to show themselves for who they are, or there might be certain people like that, but at the very latest, when they're at certain point where it's like becoming their livelihood, when it becomes about money, just don't fucking trust anyone what you see and hear from them.
Is punished. And that sounds very dramatic, but I think it's true. Again, like unless you're pretty or people think you're funny, but even that, if people think you're funny, but then you make a video and people think it's not funny, then you're just annoying. So this leads me to
Who
kind of
cares?
another thought that I had. I think it's a big talking point on the internet now.
The prettiness, though, from what I can evaluate, even looking at those sad motherfuckers, where the whole content is just, it's all shit, right, bro? On this level, but they look pretty, those fucking pretty boys. People gonna watch that, yes. Again, humans are a visual fucking being, and on the base level, the pretty or not pretty plays a big role, instinctively. So yeah, those people can just fucking say whatever. People gonna watch that. Even if there's zero fucking cohesive thoughts, or it's just fucking some nonsense, just some made up bullshit, they're gonna watch this shit. Yeah, sure. Um, yeah, not
Of
gonna dive
trying
too
to
much
find
into it.
authenticity. There's definitely a dichotomy happening online where any sort of individuality or alternativeness is, I think, shamed or, discredited as being like cringy or you're corny. But then at the same time, the same people who will say things like that talk about there being a lack of authenticity online. And I don't know if this is a hot take, but I think that people searching for authenticity online are never going to be satisfied in their search for it. I think that the internet is just inherently inauthentic.
Not necessarily. Internet is fucking bottomless. It's a big place, the online. You can find stuff, you know? If you're gonna watch Mr. Beast, yeah, don't expect fucking anything good, but you know.
The Hawthorne effect has us all in its grasp. Which, if you don't know, the Hawthorne effect is the phenomenon where people change the way that they act when they know that they're being watched, even though, you know,
Yes. Yeah, that's a valid point. Again, about those persona things. Of course. Yes. You behave differently compared to being completely alone, and then, you know, depending on who is actually specifically with you together. You're gonna talk to your friends differently than just random people, or differently than your fucking boss at work or whatever, or the client and whatnot. That's it's normal. It's how it works.
the Hawthorne effect can take place in many scenarios. When you get to meet people face to face and you get to know them, I think your guard eventually slips and you can be yourself. Like, I think it's pretty common for people to be quite shy when meeting strangers, but then when they become friends, their real personality comes out.
Again, even there's certain lines, right? You might share 90% with another person, but maybe those last 10 or maybe last 5%, or maybe some hidden skeletons in your closet or whatever. Maybe there's actually nobody you're gonna share those things with or to. So, but yeah, there's like stages to it, sure.
And it's because you've made a connection with that person. But I think that connection just can't happen online. You know, I'm sitting here looking at myself at my laptop and looking at a little white light, so I know to look in the camera. It's completely different
I'm often not even fucking looking at my camera. I'm looking just at the second monitor as a dummy.
than talking to someone face to face. I think that instead of trying to kind of manufacture that authenticity, because that's what people are doing, in my opinion, I think authenticity is like you can't be sold authenticity. And so I think that's why there's just kind of this void online in terms of like what people are searching for. And I also think that people confuse authenticity, like when we're speaking about people online, like creators online, I think that people confuse authenticity for parasocialism. I think that you don't actually want authenticity with the creators that you watch. You want to feel like they're authentic. You want to feel like, you know, you're on a FaceTime call with your best friend. Because at the end of the day, you don't know these people. Like, they might feel like, you know, your big sister or a friend on a FaceTime call, but that persona that they're showing could be completely made up, you know?
Yeah, and that's a valid point, and that's probably completely made up. Yes. Again, maybe on the lowest level, there's someone really true in their true, showing their true selves or whatever, in all the cringe and its glory. But even there, most people are trying to present themselves as in a certain way, as I do, right? As everyone does. Mostly everyone. Again, maybe there's some unhinged person who's just within any type of social interaction, be it online or not, just completely always just being who he is and just presenting him or herself like just I feel like this at the moment, so I'm just completely unfiltered and gonna present it as is. Maybe somebody is like that, though that's not normal to be honest. But okay. But especially the big names, come on. If you feel like they're your friends or whatever, then you're on the same level as like those cam girl clients who are fucking spending all their money so they fucking get the private session or whatever and feel like, oh, that's my girlfriend. No, the OnlyFans girls are not your girlfriends, and the fucking YouTubers are not your friends. You don't know them. And many motherfuckers, bro, you can just see that they like, it's all a fucking it's just bullshit. They're full of shit. They turn this camera off and just fucking show you, give you the middle finger. But yeah, but yeah, sure, valid points.
So I that is just also something that I it sort of made me think about. It sounds very elementary, I think, to say it out loud. Maybe the good art was the friends we made along the way, but it's different to hear that, all art is good art. And, any effort that you put in is.
I actually wrote like a seminars paper. I don't know what the fuck it's called in the US. I don't care. You get the point at the university about art and what it is, like as a definition of art. That's ridiculous to think about it, that I actually was writing such papers. Yeah, again, it's all about definition. Subjectively, though, I wouldn't call everything like, it's made by a human. And it's called art, or it was meant to be art. So any art is great now. Any art has value to it. Yeah, I don't know. You can have this point of view, but again, subjectively, me personally, no, no. You might create a. If you're gonna take a shit into a jar and then put it into a museum, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna call it art, even if you want to. It's provocative art piece about Trump or something. A piece. I took a crap into a jar and put it into the exposition in the museum. It's a 3D art. You can look it, you can touch it, you can smell it in your nose. No, I gonna disagree. So
worth it, even if it doesn't turn out right. But it's another thing to really internalize that of like, I've spent all this time, beating myself up for not being as good as other people when it comes to creating things, not being, not having as much knowledge, not being as technically skilled.
again, that's not bad in itself. This notion of feeling like that, not being skilled enough, not having enough knowledge, because that's your own standard towards yourself. And when feeling in this way, what your body tells you, your mind tells you to do is to get this skill, to get this knowledge, so you feel good. So yes, you can adjust your perception and don't feel shitty about it and just accept it for what it is, your level of skill or whatever. That's one way. Or you can actually get better in those things. Right? Which one is easier also depends on the person. And again, the content I'm reacting towards, to mostly, is the people who don't want to fucking do anything. They're fucking lazy and all they do is complain. And they wanted to just change the perception and then feel great about themselves just while sitting in shit and being miserable. But there's another solution for most of those things, is to actually get better so you correspond to your own standards and feel good about yourself. There's no truth and fucking the true way of how to live, fucking the right way to see things. No, there's just choices and consequences of those choices. It's like everything is about that. There's a choice and there's an outcome. That's all it is. But ultimately, I mean, do whatever you want, right? Twist it, twist your perception, twist whatever. Pretend to influence reality like the manifestation guy. It's like, it's up to you, I guess. But, there's consequences to those choices. And then don't be surprised if it bites you in the ass. But yeah, we're not going to go into other topics now. I want to end this video.
but that it really doesn't matter, because I have fun drawing. I have fun making videos. I have fun.
Yes, that's the good point. Again, exactly. As I'm doing my shitty videos, I don't give a fuck, right? It's a replacement for my fucking gaming, which I got bored of. So as long as I'm enjoying it, it's like, who gives a fuck? And I'm gonna stop enjoying it and I'm gonna drop it maybe. Maybe not. We'll see. But again, same for everyone and for her now, right? Drawing is her fucking hobby, right? So just draw it, present it, show it to people. Somebody's gonna like it, someone not. Who cares?
you know Writing, doing creative writing, even if it's not good, it's still something that I enjoy doing. It's still something that I'm making with my own hands. It's something that I get to experience. I think people unfortunately kind of view art now as a commodity, as something to just kind of consume, to look at, to watch, to listen to, instead of a process.
I get it. Okay, I wanted to, as the tradition says, I'm gonna interrupt before watching the whole thing. I wanted to yawn so bad now that my mouth would rip. Um, uh, Nothing against her. It's just the others, they wind me up. She's bringing good points in the end. I guess we got the gist of the video anyway. So much for that. If you like this shit for some reason, leave a like, make a subscribe, drop a comment, say that I'm stupid or something, whatever. I don't know. Auf Wiedersehen. Tschüss. Schönen Abend. Gott befohlen. Adios. Ja.